Hello! So, I am currently in the process of packing everything up and moving, but in the meantime, I wanted to do a little video going through all of the sketchbooks that I made during uni, and how I progressed as an artist, a bit for my own archival purposes, since I won't be bringing these with me, and also just to share with everyone so you can see the evolution of my art. Now, I apologize because while recording it, I don't really have proper equipment, I just have my phone, so it's got a shadow kind of going across some of it because of the tripod phone mount I was using, so I do apologize for that. But this is just a chill little video, so I hope you enjoy it. Hello, how are you? Today I wanted to go through a bit of my old sketchbooks and art books from art school, university, when I studied animation. I don't sketch as much traditionally as I used to, especially because I did like life drawing classes and everything here. So this is from about 2020 to 2022, mostly, these sketchbooks here. I'll go through them a bit of them, like talk about it a bit, cut out some stuff, especially like the nudity from life drawing because it's YouTube. But yeah, let's get into it, shall we? So this is a sketchbook I had from 2019 through to 2020. So let's skip ahead with 2020 stuff. There's mainly just a personal one where I did lots of character drawings and fan art and stuff like that. I experimented a lot of markers and around this time. This is probably a pretty good spot to start. This was my first time drawing Stingo, which is like one of my longest running original characters. We've got just hand sketches, lots of personal stuff. Big war, so this is 2020, when it ticked over. This is a bunch of rats drawing for the new year. A weird chicken man and Bulbasaur Pokemon. I can only see like one side of this because of the way my camera is in the way. But I'll just go through, talk about some things when they pop up. This character here was from a little series I was conceptualizing called Paranormal Investigators. I drew a lot in 2020. These were like a little comic I made called Varmints. Me studying like Lupin the Third, pretty much just drawing over Lupin the Third, my character. Nothing from specific classes here though, but this is just me kind of drawing a lot at the start of university. There's Pokemon stuff. Kung Fu Panda art. This page here, it was a character I was designing for a uni assignment. But we were given like, there was like 3 different prompts we could choose from. We had to make characters for like a pitch based on that. So yeah, these were some studies I did from Porco Rosso. More character stuff. This was a character I made called Goma the Stone Crab, or Ishigari no Goma. It was like a short film I wanted to storyboard. Me designing a little kappa kind of thing. I really apologize for the shadow of the tripod being in the way. There's nothing I can do about it because I just have terrible lighting in this in my apartment. More character design stuff. A lot of these pages are very dense and messy because that's just how I would draw. I would just draw everything on one page and not want to skip to the next one. Lots more of these characters. So this was the main character, this frog girl, and then this was like a sidekick character. Some Pokemon fan art, and more Porco Rosso, and then just dense pages with like a ton of characters on them. And yeah, that is that sketchbook. Then we have a nice, really little small one. This is a Maruman sketchbook, an A6 postcard size one. This is my favorite sketchbook brand. It's a Japanese one, and they sit flat, which is what I really like about them. And the paper quality is quite good. They can hold like watercolors and markers really well. And I love really small sketchbooks like this. So this was at the very start of uni. This is mainly just personal stuff. I don't know why I drew Keemstar there. But experimenting with markers a little bit. These were some Japanese mascots. I was doing just marker pages, like A6 full postcard ones. Coronavirus, because that was the time. These were some Earthbound enemies. Some more marker stuff. It does bleed through a bit because these were very thick, like Sharpie markers. Some environment scenes. I was experimenting. This is like my first time drawing environments, really. A watercolor little Fiat 500, inspired by Lupin III. Never watercolors. I would draw another scene. I would draw a lot around the parks where I lived, near the river in Brisbane at the time. It's more of that stone crab character. Experimenting with that. I would like to go back and make like a short film based on these eventually, or like storyboard them. But I have to flesh out the stories more and think about it. But yeah, that's that Raindrop and Sprout, the characters I was drawing earlier. I drew a lot with a very light pencil, like a 5H or B, whichever one it is, the lighter one. So yeah, lots of light sketches. This was a watercolor sketchbook I had. Most of these aren't fully finished sketchbooks, but this was a hot press. This is that Stone Crab character, so I went back to kind of markers here. But I really did want to learn it. That's my Stingo character. Again. So just me kind of studying drawing characters. These characters were for a animatic that I made during uni. So I did some like watercolor impressions of scenes from it. That was around second year, I believe. So yeah, that's all from that one. Now these we're going into like life drawing classes now. So this sketchbook has a lot of watercolor and ink processes. I really enjoyed working with ink for life drawing, just ink in general. I find it very fun. I wasn't the best in proportions and stuff like that here, but some of them I do like still looking back. I love watercolor as a medium. I just don't like how it feels when you like rub your hands across it. It's so rough. It also can be depending on the paper. There's some poses I really like, and you have these longer ones later on, like these two especially I'm a big fan of. I just love the contrast and light and shadow and how you can play with that with ink. And I'd love to do more of it in the future. It's been a while now since I've done it. And just how you can make expressions look really simple and abstract. This was a good model. I had like a little violin. So here was my sketchbook from my first year of university. So these were very early life drawing process we were doing. Like the first ones I was doing at class. So I'll have to skip around a lot of them because it is like nude models. It's tasteful, but just to be safe with YouTube. A lot of it was just very short poses to start with. And I did improve a lot. Like I would be able to get a full model down in like a minute or 30 seconds, much better compared to the beginning. Some scenes, like an environment. It's very light pencil, but it's like a boat on a beach. But that's what a lot of first year uni is, just learning like the fundamentals, especially for an art degree. So it's lots of squares and boxes being drawn in perspective, trying to understand that. Lots of just basic poses, trying to get anatomy down. Yeah. Of course, a lot of this was around right when COVID started was when I did my degree, so a lot of this was done online, so we didn't get to have like in-person models, so it was kind of disappointing. And then around, I believe this is the second year, we did like a lot of experimentation of different mediums, so that's when we did the ink, but there's also like colored pencil here. Some of these I do quite like some of the longer ones. I think they're okay, like the proportions are a little off, but I think we were trying to play around with light and shadow with these ones. This was a little plane I designed, like a plane of foldable bird wings. I wanted to make a film about it, but it ended up being used by my roommate who made a little 3D model of it for their portfolio. This model was a pretty cool one. He did like a full themed like costume session. He was in like a British old war uniform. So it was pretty interesting. I liked some of the poses like that one. I thought was pretty fun. But I tried, when I was around second or third year, I tried experimenting more with expression and stuff like that and putting character into my art. And also around second year, we were studying like a lot of animal anatomy and stuff like that because we had to make like a story based around Australian animals. So I studied like the thylacine and the ricali or water rat to make a little story about that in Tasmania. So these are some animal studies. We went to like the museum and studied a bunch of like taxidermy and stuff like that. So yeah, and obviously when you're doing extinct animal like the Tasmanian tiger, you don't have a lot of references to like study from, or any other references at least. This one's actually a drawing of my real life dog. If I get it on camera, yeah, Cookie. He passed away though in 2022, I believe. Some kind of Studio Ghibli studies as well as going through with the art style. I was very much inspired by like Western cartoons at the start of uni. Evolved more to my current art style, which is more anime and Ghibli inspired. Some animal studies here, got a little crocodile, and characters. We did like quite a bit of charcoal art, but I didn't keep those because they were just incredibly messy, and they were on loose pieces of paper. This was a character. I was designing for another kind of show, like, pitch concept called Go Go Bucket Model. Ended up doing a little animated sequence of it, which is like some keyframes for it here. Yeah, just kind of playing around with the stylization. This was a guy we did for light drawing model. It was really weird though because he was bald and he had no eyebrows, so it's like we didn't have a lot to work with in regards to facial features. So it's just kind of like default head. This was another character from that pitch. It was called, it was like based on the Kouma Inu statues, which you will find at like Japanese shrines. And like another character called Lu, who was like a Miko shrine maiden. A Miko shrine maiden. I very light pencil though, because I drew very lightly. And this was logo design. In hindsight, I really enjoy logo design, and I'm glad that's kind of something I want to pursue more with like graphic design and illustration. And then, this was my personal sketchbook throughout most of uni. It was a 365 page sketchbook. It's meant to be like 365 days. I didn't do it like that though, I just did it when I felt like it. So I started it in October of 2020 and finished it around October of 2022. So there's lots of stuff in here as well. I'll skip around a little bit, the interesting parts. But like just very dense pages with lots of characters drawn on them was pretty common in here. There's more of that character that Paranormal Investigators one. Some Pokemon Ranger fan art. Lots of just hand studies and like fan art and just original characters and weird style explorations. This was just my messy sketchbook where I would just draw whatever. I wanted to make a comic out of these guys properly, but never had the time to fully dedicate to it. These were me drawing for the 2021 New Year, which is the year of the ox. So I was doing lots of different experimentations for that. That was kind of the first cut design that I went with at the end though. Some little kind of tree study, trying to stylize things from nature. Little object show characters, because I draw them a lot when I was bored. Stone crab character again. And some of these I would sketch and then turn into like digital drawings later on. There's like monkeys here I drew. Very much inspired by like Misaki Iwasa. That one. This was like the first time I drew a character for the Go-Go Bakemon, or the protagonist. Again, I'm calling him Kenichi. More of that. Man, this is like, I hate the shadows. These were me trying to design the characters for that troll when I made a storyboard animatic for. I actually do have some of those videos on this channel. They are like unlisted though, but I might link them in the description if people do want to see them. It went through some changes this one quite a bit to make it fit into like a 3-minute thing because it was for an assignment. This was like some Pokemon fan art based on the team I was using at the time for X and Y. More Pokemon fan art. All very light though. Farfetch, which was my favorite Pokemon at the time. I colored pencil, I experimented a little bit with here. I like that Farfetch'd, like how it's stylized in this T-Rex. This was my profile picture on social media for a long time. This drawing here, based on like the Lupin the Third, Castle of Cagliostro, like little sign. This was a character of mine called Boogie. I drew him a lot throughout 2019, and he disappeared kind of for a bit. It was part of that Paranormal Investigators thing. Just some like Goku fan art, just some drawing like a red panda. I'll just draw things from Pinterest, essentially. Try stylizing them. You got Agumon here. This was never kind of comic idea I wanted to make, called like My Life with a Duck or something like that. I can't remember what I wanted to call it. Something like that. But it was going to be a Farfetch'd originally, be in the Pokemon world, but I ended up reworking it to be a just slice of life story. I was drawing, I was playing Fire Red and drawing like my Pokemon team there. That's like Primeape in the Yamcha kind of pose. because he died a lot. Some Lupin the Third studies and just wild random bird studies as well. Yeah, the big page of messy characters and stuff like that. Lupin the Third, random things. Go into the law. Some of these are so messy. These were like all the monster designs for that Paranormal Investigator. Oh no, for Gogo Bakemono. Very hard to see about lighters, but this was like meant to be like a Tengu, a Tanuki, like the Kasa monster yokai thing. Yeah. This is like a comic idea I had about like a monster tamer series based on dinosaurs, but there's also a caveman character in it. This was, I mean, a main character, like a scientist who like is involved with the technology to bring dinosaurs back. This monster taming thing. This was my Brilliant Diamond kind of fan art when that came out. And like kind of tiger exploration for Year of the Tiger. Or the Troll. This was a character I made for a comic in uni about reindeer herders in Kamchatka in Siberia. And kind of like a local deity. Like a horror kind of comic. Based on like a reindeer that's affected by like radioactive waste. I wish I went with one of these more unique designs for it, but I ended up just going with a pretty basic one, because I was kind of rushed in the end. But all this exploration was really fun. It's pretty similar to this, in the end. But I do miss just drawing, like, very frequently, like I did back then, and casually. I do want to get back to it, just some Lupin the Third object show stuff. More of those characters, because it was just fun, and I just don't really do it as much as I used to. Because I'm too busy working on videos and real life work and games and stuff like that. This is for a film I pitched called Gecko. Just trying to do some designs for it. Random hand studies. I believe these are from Klaus or Pinterest or something. Yeah, some Brilliant Diamond fan art. And this is when I started playing Legends Arceus, so I was drawing my Legends Arceus team a lot. I really liked Hisui and Decidueye. Yeah. And Weirdia, and Gudra, Sliggoo, all that. So I just drew them a ton around the beginning of 2022. When King of Kings was airing at this time, and Scarlet and Violet got revealed. I was trying to draw the characters from that. All the Pokemon starters. And this was, I was designing Pokemon starters based on Brisbane. So this was like a plover, a possum, and like the water dragons we have down here. I really like this final start evolution for this possum. I think it's really cute. So light and hard to see though. And also this final one for like a fire plover based one. Random Hobbit fan art. I was reading The Hobbit at this time. First day of third year of uni. Just random Pokemon. This was from a crystal Nuzlocke I did, or a gold Nuzlocke. I was drawing on the toilet with this one. I don't know why. Random Shine Animals. This was me designing a character for a 2D rig in Toon Boom. This was that, yeah, with the duck, which I reworked it to be. So I was playing Black and White 2 at the time, I believe, with this one here. These were me studying the Spy X Family opening animation. I was like just doing little thumbnails based on the explosions in cars and stuff like that. Figuring out how it worked compositionally. Just random life study. A lot of Pinterest stuff. I like drawing bears and cars and big pigs. This was a character from a D&D campaign that I hosted. Try towards the end here. But yeah, that's the end of that book, and that's pretty much all of my sketchbooks from uni. Skipping all of the nudity and stuff from life drawing, but yeah, hope this was enjoyable. I apologize the lighting was so bad. I don't have a better setup. Hopefully I will get one when I move to Japan because I want to do more live action stuff. But I also just drew really lightly with these sketches and a lot of the pages are smudged, so I apologize it's not the best. Thank you for sticking around if you did. This was just a nice little look back for me on my art. And you can kind of see the evolution of it going into what I do with videos, and if you've seen any of my personal art on my social media or website. So yeah, thank you for watching, and we'll see you on another video. This was just a fun one to make while I'm moving.